I think every day I still go, I can't believe I'm doing Sweeney Todd on Broadway. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, there's been a lot of moments of that, kind of being on stage and looking at Sutton and looking out and saying, like, yeah, no, we're doing Sweeney Todd on Broadway right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. But yeah, we're having way too much fun, I think. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Sweeney Todd continues to play to packed houses, and they will conclude their run on May 5th. And I'm here at the Lunfontaine to catch up with the show's two new stars, Sutton Foster and Aaron Tveit. Were these roles always on your bucket list? Like one day, hopefully, maybe I'll get to do Sweeney Todd?
I think it felt so far away, like almost out of my reach. Like it's my favorite show of all time, but I never thought, oh, I would do it. So no.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way too. I mean, I hoped and dreamed, and it's a show that I've always just thought was incredible, but I never knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah. What do you each remember about your first performance here on stage in Sweeney Todd? Is it a blur? Are there memories that come up?
It was a bit of a blur. I disassociated quite a bit, but I do remember having that dual reality of standing on the stage and going, I'm doing Sweeney Todd, and because there had been so much time and rehearsal and so much leading up to that day, and of course you're just ripping the Band-Aid and you're like, I don't know if we're like, but it was thrilling, although I don't know if I remember much of it.
Yeah, I don't think I remember any of it, except the only thing I remember is just trying to keep like my adrenaline out of my throat, right? It's like so many times on opening nights, there's so much energy and so much adrenaline, and the crowds here have been so kind of voracious that night it was even more so. So it was really fighting against, because when the crowd is so wonderful, especially if it's your first night, you have the tendency you want to go with them, and so with this show you can't do that. So you have to it was a big fight to fight against that energy a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the first time you saw yourself done up as Mrs. Lovett in the mirror and Sweeney?
I was really I was like, I look crazy. And my wig is so like squirrely and and I thought, oh wow, this just does so much for me.
Yeah.
And I like the whole getup, like everything. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So it really kind of, it's like does so much for the character. But I was excited.
Yeah, I always feel that, good costuming and good hair and makeup, as you said, do so much, right? And so it creates a picture, and that picture is telling so much story for you. So I couldn't believe what I was looking at. There's all this gray in my hair and in my beard, and it just felt like armor in a way. It feels like you're prepped to go out.
Yeah, and you physically look like a different person, unlike anything I've ever looked like on stage.
Same.
So it was exciting.
Yeah.
This is one of the most beautiful scores ever written. Like you said, it's your favorite musical. Is it a hard show to learn?
Yes.
I think it's the hardest score I've ever had to learn. I was incredibly, because it's one of those shows you're like, oh, I know Sweeney Todd. No, you don't know Sweeney Todd. And like as soon as we started working on it, I was like, oh, I don't even know how to go about learning it, working on it. I still make mistakes. It's this. And then you add the layer of the orchestra and then the ensemble. It's unlike anything I've ever had to tackle.
We were really lucky that we had we had sessions over the course of a month before we started rehearsal that Alex Lacamoire took us through beat by beat of the score, because it's the hardest score I've ever learned. I mean, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I've never spent the hours that I spent on this kind of listening to the piano track of my part, following along in the score. I mean, it really took a lot of work to learn this, but I feel like it was like the artistic process in a nutshell. It's like, this is amazing. I can't do this. I'm terrible. I'll never do this. Oh, maybe I get it. Oh, okay, I understand it. Oh, I got it, right? It's like, which is what you go through in every job, but this was like amplified. Learning this show was tremendously difficult. But then once you do, and it seems so complicated, but I think that's the brilliance of it, is that all of a sudden you start hearing the way that the songs work with the orchestra in a way that you couldn't imagine understanding when you start out. And I think that's the brilliance of the show and the score.
And then you had Tommy Kail, which is rare when people go into it, replace someone in a show, but no, it's your own Sweeney Todd, the two of you, which is really amazing. What was it like having time with Tommy Kail?
It was wonderful. It's my first time working with him as a director. And same with Alex Lacamoire. I mean, we were so lucky, and that everyone was so open to us sort of coming in and finding our own way, and it was amazing. And it was really, that whole month of December was really when we were rehearsing and going into the show, and it really felt like a wonderful process.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to work with Tommy on Grease Live, and I had such a great time with him. And, first they asked us, they said, would Sutton and I want to come in for 12 weeks and do this? And I was like, of course. And then I just kind of expected that we were going to get put in as you usually do. And they said that Tommy and Lack would be, with us the whole time. And it's something that you don't really get to experience a lot. And as Sutton said, they really let us come in and find our own way and make the show our own. And also this entire company too. I mean, the show had been running and hugely successful for 9 months, and if they had sat back and said, no, we're going to do our show, like, I would have totally understood that, but everyone in this building was so game for anything that we were doing different and to shape and find a new way to tell the story all together. And it was really special, and I'm very, very grateful for all of them too.
I'm sure it made it easier going in together.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting way to do it, because if we were rehearsing this as normal, we'd be forging this relationship as well, but you'd be doing it with every character that you interact with. But in a weird way, this kind of love story that's at the center of this show between between Sweeney and Lovett is, we got to kind of find that on our own. We only had each other. We had wonderful people that came in and rehearsed with us. We had so much time, just the two of us, and I think it made that part of the show so rock solid. And
Yeah.
I know I can always look at Sutton on stage and find each other, and it's really it was a unique way to do it, but I think it had a lot of benefits to the way we're telling the story.
Yeah.
When did you find it together? Were there little things that unlocked it along the way for you? Were there big things that unlocked these for you, like during the process?
It was like, it was a process.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it's intimidating coming into a show. For me, it was the first time I've replaced in a really long time. Massive shoes to fill, coming into a company that's been united and together for over 300 performances and performing for a year. And I was like, I don't want to mess this up, and I felt really intimidated and scared. But again, it was a very slow process. And then we learned it, and then we took a break, because I went to go do Once Upon a Mattress at City Center.
Off in the middle of it,
and we
yeah.
took a month off in the middle of the process, which in a weird way
Was amazing.
was amazing, because if we had gone in that first week of January, it would have been a totally different experience. But in a weird way, we took a break. I went and did something else, and then we came back, and it had kind of marinated, and there was something that, not that I recommend it.
No, but it ended up working out really well.
It
I
did.
feel like I really tried to let it go for that time that we were away, and then when I came back to it, it just
So maybe
settled,
that's
and
what you're asking. It kind of unlocked then.
I think
for
so.
me.
Yeah, when we came back to it.
Yeah,
because I think
couldn't see it before. I was
Same.
like drowning.
Yeah, we were still learning it, but then
Yeah.
the time away, it was like, oh no, okay, this is still
Yeah.
there, and we know it now, and now we can kind of really play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you could relax into it. You stepped away from it and say, I know the show.
Yeah.
I know it now.
Yeah.
But you put all those other fears and those voices somewhere else.
And you could see
Yeah.
it again. Like sometimes when you're learning something, you can't even, you have no perspective.
Yeah.
You're just surrounded by all the things. And so it was this weird gift that turned out.
Okay, but
Yeah.
then you talk about leaving for a month. You went to do Once Upon a Mattress, which is one of the greatest stage roles ever. Carol Burnett, I mean, what were you thinking? I mean, you were brilliant in the show, the whole entire production, but it's like, I'm learning Sweeney Todd. Oh, and now I'm going to go do Once Upon a Mattress.
Well, Once Upon a Mattress had been on the books for a long time. So it was really Sweeney Todd that kind of came in. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'll see if I can figure it out. But they amazingly, all of the people involved, and luckily you were so game to be like, sure, I'll rehearse this way. I mean, it was wild. It was wild. And it was fun. Mattress was crazy and beyond, and such a lark, and so I was so unhinged and unleashed. and there was such a sense of freedom, because I was like, all right, I'm going to go and throw myself into this. And and there's the beauty of encores is that there just isn't enough time to doubt or think or worry. You just gotta go for it. And it just ended up being a really wonderful time. Yeah.
Oh boy, it was brilliant to watch you make magic in that show too. What's it like living in the world of Stephen Sondheim, singing these beautiful songs, saying these words by Hugh Wheeler? I mean, like I said, a great score, a complex score, but so beautiful.
It's a dream, and I think it's a masterpiece. A lot of our job is to just let go and trust, because the material just doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, it's fascinating. This is the third Sondheim show I've gotten to do, and I just think I've learned so much every time I've gotten to work on one of these shows, and it really feels like Shakespeare, that there's so much there in the source material that you kind of, in a way, just show up and say the words. But
Get out of its way, get out of
but
your own
yeah,
way.
there's just this thing is so lean and mean. There's no fat on it. You just show up and put yourself in that position and just go for it. And it can take a big swing too, in a way that Shakespeare, I think, can, right? You just kind of put your stamp on it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try this and see if it works, and things happen. But no, it's remarkable. I still am learning something brand new every night about
Same.
about the script, about the score, about the way it functions. It's fascinating. What a gift
It
is.
keeps revealing itself every show.
Yeah.
Yeah. My final question for you is, when you finish this, you're about to make your Cafe Carlisle debut, which you did too. So have you told him anything, or what are you excited to the most about doing the Cafe Carlisle?
I just love that room. I think it's such a New York staple and feels like such a New York evening. So I'm excited to get my shot at it. But
I can't wait to come see you.
oh, thanks.
You tell him what it was like playing the room. It's like playing a living room, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. I mean, that's only 90 seats.
amazing.
But it's my favorite room in New York to play. I absolutely love it. It's awesome. You're going to be fantastic.
Thanks.
Little Sondheim in the show?
Definitely.